Sanu. Some of this we're talking about this beautiful morning, and we will not be doing that alone, myself and Ugo. We have a guest in the studio this beautiful morning who is going to be joining us to have this particular conversation. We have with us Dr. Khalifa Abbas. He is a public affairs analyst. Good to have you.
Thank you for having me.
I don't know you to be this calm.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so before we start the conversation fully, let's check out this short report about the cyber security situation presently.
Activate intelligence system.
Password required. Access granted.
All right, we're in business.
A report on the Global Cybercrime Index has ranked Nigeria 5th among the top countries with the greatest cybercrime threat, with Russia topping the list, followed by Ukraine, China, and the USA. The report, produced by researchers from the Department of Sociology, University of Oxford, and the University of New South Wales, Canberra, was said to be the first ever World Cybercrime Index, which identified the global major cybercrime hotspots by ranking the most significant sources of cybercrime at a national level. The index showed that the threat of cybercrime is not evenly distributed worldwide. The index represents 3 years of intensive research and has been developed as a joint partnership between the University of Oxford and the University of New South Wales, Canberra.
All right, welcome back. All right, so from that short report, we could see that Nigeria is ranking number 5 in the. That's not a very good number, with Russia topping the list as number 1. And it was said that it took about 3 years for this research to be concluded. That is to say, it wasn't rushed. So definitely, I mean, as an analyst, right? What do you think regarding this? Are we that bad, you know, in the world ranking?
Well, I don't think we are bad. I think we're human beings, just as every other person, every other country like Russia, as there is Russia in the list, Ukraine, China, and United States. Are they all bad people? They're not. They're all countries with good and bad people. So certainly, if your country is growing, you're going to have a lot of things to deal with. So cybercrime, it's been paying on mostly Nigeria in Africa in terms of seeing people like, worse as Nigerians. When they go out, sometimes you see you're a Nigerian, they see you as a bad person because the only news that get to them is the cyber crimes and other illegal activities, not the good things that we're doing. So why I'm happy on this list is we are the 5th ranking. Then we have the first being the Russia, the second being Ukraine, the third I think being China, the fourth being United States. So before it gets to us, I think we have to discuss them because they are leading the world in almost every aspect of life. So if they are leading in this aspect, I think it's also a good thing for us to be part of it.
But there's something that I want you to clarify. Now, there was a report that said that the U.S. actually have more victims of cybercrime, and this is not far-fetched because some persons feel that they're the most easy to deceive, and yet they are also ranking among the top 5. You know, and so how does that balance itself? I'm not doubting the report. I'm just saying, looking at these other reports and these other report that took 3 years to carry out, is there a balance?
I think there should be a balance. You know, one common thing you have to look on these countries that are, I think they're mostly alike. They are the most populated. I'm just surprised that India is not among.
Okay.
Yeah, because they have too much population. So when you have population, you have growth, you have people in
number 10.
all number 10. Wow. I think they have to do more on that.
Okay.
So you have to deal with a lot, positivity, negativity. There is a lot of things to discuss on this issue. US are easy access in deceiving because they are greedy. I think there are no more people on earth that want to make money easily. They pin it to Nigerians, being as black as Africans. So they think we don't deserve to do a lot. When we say we want something new or something good, they see that aspect of us as us being bad. But when the white people are doing it, they celebrate them for that. Because if you go to US and see what they're doing, you'll be surprised. If you go to Ukraine and see the amount of cybercrime they're doing, negative things. But before you hear Ukraine in people's mouth, you hear Nigeria. Are you understanding the point? So we are popular and we are the giant of Africa. So everybody is now getting scared that how are we black? The dumb people they think we were, being the most, what do you call it? The most, I'm trying to use it.
You don't want to say notorious?
Not really notorious. The most intelligent people on earth. In every aspect. So whether in cybercrime, in politics, in sports, you can see us everywhere. So mostly we have to participate in the cybercrime.
But isn't there a dent to our image as a people? Because, I mean, it is not something to brag about. Yes, we are intelligent. But can this intelligence be channeled to other great areas? I know we are doing well in the area of entertainment, yes. But, I mean, we have this knowledge, you know, this computer knowledge. But then can't it be channeled into more positive things instead of cybercrime? Don't forget that there is no week that passes by that you don't see a story of either a Nigerian in the UK or in the US or a Nigerian right here in Nigeria doing something relating to cybercrime. Every single week you see one story or the other. Either they were arrested or they've been caught. Or why?
That's why before I started I said we are all human beings. So we all make mistakes and do a lot of things that are not actually good things to do. But why am I comparing us to the oldest countries? Because those are the countries that people are celebrating. So if you say we are bad, they are badder. I get to the point. And I studied outside this country. I don't want to mention the country before because I don't want the topic to be based on that particular country. But when a Chinese person or a US person did a crime, you will not see him on the news of that country. But when a black person did a crime, whether he's Nigerian or not, you will see his news on the news, him on the news, being a bad person representing Nigeria. Some people, other people from Kenya, South Africa claim to be Nigerians because we are the bad people. So if you understand what I'm saying, I'm not celebrating them. I'm only trying to make you understand that we are a nation of almost 200 and something population. So mostly you're going to have a lot of people that goes into wrongdoings. That doesn't make us as a bad people. Because before you say we are bad people, we are doing a lot of things, good things. You have, like you said, you mentioned music. You have people like Burna Boy, Wizkid, Davido, P Square, like a lot of them. We're doing a lot of good things. Are you hearing their names in that aspect? Are they celebrating them in the way they should be? No, but when one Nigerian did something in the United States, they will put his whole face all over the internet as if we're the only bad people. When their own people did it, are you seeing it on the news? No. We have issues of insecurity in Nigeria, and once you go on Nigerian news, you see a lot of insecurity. Go to the US, they kill people every single day. Police brutality, black killing blacks, white killing blacks. So are you seeing the news? So why are they only showing the bad side of this country? We have people like that are doing a lot of good things, like Dangote. See, we can go a long road on this conversation, and you see that before you say we are part of cybercrime on this earth, we have a lot of things to discuss before getting here. And if you say we're going to discuss about it, let's discuss about it, and let's talk about US. Let's talk about China. And all those people are leading countries on earth.
There is an unsettling correlation between the economy of any nation and, in this case, our economy and the level of cybercrime as we have it. Can you speak to how where we are economically might have affected, our rating as number 5 in the global ratings?
Well, one thing about economy. Once you look at Africa, look at Nigeria, no matter what they're going to say about it, no matter how much they try to actually make us stay where we are, because we should be far, far ahead of here. We have all the possibilities of being a great country on this earth. So for us to be here, they are at fault. So for us to be here,
Who is at fault?
Come back
most of
in.
these great countries, I don't want to mention names on pin it on a particular country,
Okay.
but we have a lot of things to do here. We have a lot of things that we can actually grow economically, as you're talking about it. But most of them, we cannot refine our crude oil. We push it to them, they sell it back to us. Who does that? Well, we do it in Nigeria. Why? Because of colonialism. I get in the point. So if you want to widen the conversation, there is a lot to discuss. And one thing about white people, no matter how you think they should give you the credits of what you're doing, they are not going to give you. They will always look for what to blame you for not being the great person you are. So if you're trying to like be worried about how they're going to rate us when it comes to economy or our Nigerian economy, they are going to look for something that will actually make us look below them when we can actually be ahead of them.
Okay, you said something about colonialism. Is it the part where we now get to talk of how Europe underdeveloped Africa? Because if we're talking about that, let's not also forget that we also have how Africa underdeveloped Africa. So, would you say that we are still unable to rise above this colonialism?
Are you living in this country?
Of course I do.
Then you know the answer. We're not rising above what we should do. Like, one funny part of this conversation, when you go online and try to check about Nigeria, let's assume you're not Nigerian, and you want to know like a lot about Nigerian, you see how much we produce crude oil and how much we have a lot of natural resources in this soil. And we are here at this stage, and people are hungry on the streets, and you have people out of school. Then you should know the answer of this question. Like, we can do a lot more, but they are holding us back with all the agreement that was made before we were born. So we have to actually go on with it without having any option on it. Because if, let's assume, now we have Dangote refinery, and we cannot give him crude oil to refine for us in our country for the fuel to be cheaper for us. So they have to be pushing it outside the country because of an agreement that was made before now. I think that we're on debt or something. I'm not sure of the news, but we're on debt or something, and we promised to be paying with crude oil. So now that we have the largest refinery in Africa, the Nigeria, as the largest crude oil developer, they cannot give its own person the crude oil to refine for its own people for the fuel to be cheaper. So now he's exporting crude oil from other countries to refine it to become petroleum and other things.
Okay,
and sell it back to us.
If I get you correctly, we are operating on a bound that has held us, and due to that, we are stuck in one place.
Sure.
We cannot move forward. We should not move backwards. Right, we should not. We should just stay in one place. But that brings us to a different level, which is our leaders. If we are bounded by a certain treaty that was made many years ago, before now, oil wasn't, we had agriculture. We are not bounded by agriculture. Before now, agriculture was the main thing. We had everything going well. So if we are bounded by crude oil, why don't we move back to agriculture? Now we have tech. We have other things that we can explore and move ourselves to a greater height. And also speak to the issue of our leaders. Have we had the best of leaders talking as a country?
Well, I think President Muhammadu Buhari tried to move us back to agriculture. Where did it take us? One thing about we are people of this generation. We are already seeing all these fine cars, seeing a lot of things happening on the world, having iPhones, having access to what is happening on the US, in China, in England. So we see ourselves in that particular space. So we don't feel that we can actually go back. I'm not saying we shouldn't. I'm just trying to make you understand why we're not back into agriculture. And we have everything that we need. But it comes to money. It comes to opportunity. We try to go back to agriculture. Then the issue of banditry started. Who started the banditry? Who knows? I don't know. It started. Yes.
Who started it?
I don't know. I'm just trying to make you understand, to make my point. So banditry started now. And now you cannot go back to your farm and farm. You cannot stay in your village where you used to live peacefully. Some people come with guns and chase you all the way. How can you farm? Where are you going to farm? On all those spaces, and you cannot do it. And coming back to the issue of politicians, if you want to talk about politicians, you talk about good leaders. How do you get good leaders? By electing them. How do you elect good leaders? By following the process the way it should be. How are we following the process in Nigeria of an electoral process? You come out with money and you pay your way in and get to your destination. And once you get there, all you want to do is to make all the money you can and go back to your family and rest. So the whole process of election, I have total problem with it. From the way we start from our local stages, how you can get the tickets of your party, you have to pay your way in. The person that has the highest money gets into the spots, or you have the biggest boss in that particular party, then you get to get the tickets. By getting the ticket, we come back to the general election. How do you get elected? By following people with money and trying to buy them off. I'm not saying every single person. I'm just trying to make you understand why we are having the leaders that we are having now. It's not because they are the best of the best. It's because they are the best that was bought.
All right, back to the issue of cybercrime. This report kind of amplified the terrible state in which we're in, where we have a lot of young people who are more interested in getting rich quick and thereby engaging in crime. The fact that, there's a high number of unemployment and all of that. But one listening to you might almost think that you are making excuses for this young man, that you are almost impressed by the activities. In fact, when you say that, we have the US ahead of us, we have Russia ahead of us, it sounds as if you're making excuses for them, whereas we are actually in a terrible state where, as it were, this kind of report should spur the security agencies to intensify efforts in terms of arresting these people who are, stealing, actually. They steal from both Nigerians and non-Nigerians. But it appears as if you're almost impressed by what they're doing.
I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed by what they're doing. I'm just trying to make you understand why we are in this stage. If you want to talk, I can advise those that are doing those kind of jobs not to do it in a way, in the mindful way that you understand me as a youth that is being into their stages of this particular Nigeria, where you actually go to school and finish and have a BSc and you have no job to do. Where you have politicians that, okay, let me ask you something. When you get to politicians having stolen our money, what do you call them? I get in the point. It's almost the same thing. It's only different because now you have the power of immunity. There is nothing will get to you. Yes, we have agencies that can access or investigate all these politicians. I'm not saying you don't. What I'm telling you, what is happening? Are you seeing anything happening here? Are you seeing all those people that Buhari's government, 8 years, what did they do? Can you tell me? How many of them actually did sorry?
They fought corruption.
Yeah, and that statement, that's what they said. I'm not saying what they fought for. How many people did they arrest? Or what was the money that was returned? I get in the point. So the politicians are the one teaching the kids how to survive. Not in their space.
You're making excuses for them.
Okay, let me break it down to you. You have politicians. I'm talking about politicians a lot because they are the one presenting the country. If they are doing something very, very good, you see the kids doing very, very good. Let's say I have a father as a politician, and all I see is how he embezzles money and how he spends money on us and make us enjoy. And imagine if I have the opportunity, what am I going to do? So all these young boys that get into crimes, what are the opportunities that they have before becoming now? Because if you want to tackle an issue, you have to look at the what started the problem. You can't just jump into it and say what you're doing is wrong. How did you get here? That's how you have to follow the route before you can get back to where we are now. So by what is happening in Nigeria for some time, if you notice, like 15 years, 20 years back, we're not sure of what is money. We're not concerned of what is money. Nobody's actually chased by, I have to be rich as a young person like me. I don't need the money because I have affordable everything. I can afford food, I can afford school, I can get a job after the school. Now, population is increasing every single day. What are the jobs opportunities? Are we creating more opportunities for the youth? And now all they see is their friends making money, buying cars, posting online. We're celebrating those one posting. The people posting online, we're celebrating them by choosing them as the best of our best. So now all our youth see is I have to be this kind of person for me to be celebrated in my community or in my area. So I want to start doing something. And what is the fastest way to make money? It's cybercrime. But one thing I told you about why I mentioned intelligence is because it takes intelligence to be in that part. Not because I'm celebrating them or I'm happy for them to be doing it. Somebody like me, I always tell people I cannot go into anything that will make you make money faster because you don't know the value of it, you don't have experience on getting where you are. So I don't think the money is actually, you can even control the money at all. So for what I'm saying is, cybercrime is not a good thing to me. Completely. I am not supporting it, but I have to tell you, you have to go back to those people and see how did they get to where they are before you can have a solution. You can't just have security agencies arresting them just because they are doing that kind of issue. Why I mentioned all those China, whatever, those countries are the one making all this news or making the rankings or putting it on the 5th of the ranking while their own people are also participating. That's why I was comparing, not because I was celebrating our people. No, it's not a good thing at all. I can never allow my own brother or my own family member to be part of that kind of crime because I always tell them, I always advise the youths, how can you go into something that you can get arrested tomorrow? How can you drive the car you bought yesterday when the money is not yours? How can you sleep at night knowing that this money you're eating, it's somebody's hard-earned money? So I am not celebrating it at all. I'm only concerned on how are our leaders, our parents, the government, how are they trying to train us? How do they want us to survive if they keep on stealing money and not doing anything for our communities, for our people to survive on this particular earth? And now you see Nigeria. Nigeria is growing. Population is growing. Now everybody is educated, not school education. When I say educated, I mean educative in the way of life, where you have phone, you have access to almost everything that is happening on earth. So now they get to learn a lot of things way away from where we are. Most of the kids, their parents, I'm seeing some videos put online where you see a young boy of 18 years have bought a car for his mother and he came to surprise her. All these kind of, what do you call it, TikTok video they used to do. And she refused to collect the car because she knows that how can you get this kind of money? Those are the kind of parents that should be celebrated. But that kind of parent, she is doing a very great job to say no, because what is the government doing for her? What is the leader of that community that she lives in is doing for the community? How much of her share of the money from the government get to her? When I say share of the money, I don't mean money given to her like doing roads like or doing community services or her salary. Or retirement benefits. There is a lot to discuss. We don't have much time to discuss all these things, but I'm telling you, there is a lot to talk about when you talk about cybercrime. And again, if you come to the north, we're not into much of cybercrime. But now, what are they doing? They mobilize them to be bandits, kidnappers. Why do you think all those things? If they have access to all those cybercrimes, they can do it. They will do it. It's more easier than holding a gun on the road. So what is that showing you? Is that showing you are people happy to have a gun and come out to the road and just to kidnap you, knowing that they might get killed on the way, or they might kill somebody?
If I get you correctly, so are you saying that getting involved in cybercrime is safer for the youth than
nothing is safer in both the crime. Nothing is safer. Don't change my words. What I mean is, well, I'm trying to make you understand what our father, the Nigeria, is creating by all the leaders that has been elected, and what are they doing and their positioning. Are you getting the point? That's why I'm giving you differences of what southern people are doing and what northern people are doing. They are all crimes, but which one is worst? Are you getting me? The guns are worst. If I'm driving back to Kaduna now, somebody can just stay on the road and say, give me money, I'll kill you, or kidnap me for days that I can't even count. You cannot compare it to cybercrime. Cybercrime, it's something that you steal money from one person or two person or from a bank. Is the wrong thing to do. But to have a gun on your head, on your road home,
that's a greater risk.
That's what I'm saying. So what is leading us to all these issues is what? It's the government. It's the government. So we refuse. It's just like you having a family. Your father is doing wrongdoings. He's not actually responsible, and you're blaming your last born in the house by his actions. When he's understanding or he's learning from the great person of the house, which is the father of the house, and nobody is saying anything from the father because they're saying he's actually above the law. So that's what we're doing here. We're trying to pain all those people that are doing all those bad things, not seeing the government, because what the government is doing is more than cybercrime, you know. They're looting money, a lot of money, and taking it outside this country to go and embezzle money, and only God knows what they're even doing with the money.
Okay, why because we need to still touch the education sector. We still need to talk about the SANU and the NASI issue. But there's something I would want you to just talk on, which is, was it yesterday? Over the weekend, the EFCC released a statement talking about how they intend to be more proactive, give a list of their achievements so far, and also address the issue of Bobrisky as to why there have been so many commentaries regarding that. And one of the interesting things for me that I picked from that release was the fact that they talked about all the monies they've been able to discover, that is the COVID-19 fund, the Abacha loot, the money that was discovered from the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, about 37 point something billion, and all the other, in quote, great things that they are doing. But one important question is, all of these monies that have been discovered, what are they using them for? Where are they going to? Because we just hear these things, but afterwards, we don't hear what the money is used for.
Well, for me, EFCC is doing a very great job in this country by facing all these people that are trying to actually make us to become below what we should actually stand by. And especially when it comes to cybercrime, like you said, they're doing a lot of good work in making sure the boys are getting arrested, which is a good thing, by making sure politicians are actually getting arrested or being questioned by what they have been accused of. So it's actually a good thing that they're doing. But when the money returns, when they say news of money, their job is to collect the money. Their job is not to use the money. Is to give the money back to who? The government. My conversation leads back to where? The government. So because once their job is to get it and tell you, okay, this is what we have gotten, and the more, this is how much that was retained. But they're not going to hold the money by themselves. They're going to give what to their principal, which is the government of Nigeria. When the money gets back to the government, you hear news that they are going to give palliatives from to state to state. Palliatives of I don't even know what for, that nobody can account for. Are you getting the point? So we are getting the money is a good thing, but using the money in a work that will actually benefit people is actually a better thing to do. But we are not hearing the news. Maybe it's been done, but I didn't actually get to hear anything about those particular money, Abacha loots. They've been having a lot of the news. We have get the money from Abacha loot. Where is the money?
Over 4 trenches of Abacha loot
Where is the money?
have come out.
All the money that I was getting from most of the politicians that were called for questioning. Before now, politicians were called for questioning, but they're not arrested because they returned some part of the money they were accused of.
Yes.
So all those kind of money, where are the money going to? You can imagine now, just very soon, just a few weeks now, that we're getting out of this dollar issue. So all this money that we're getting, where is the money? What are we using it for? Why are we suffering so much? Because let me tell you, if you go outside this room, you understand that people are suffering in this Nigeria.
Oh, yes.
Suffering, when I say suffering.
Yes.
Even people that you think they're actually enjoying, they're not. Everybody's just trying to survive now. Why? Because the country is a struggle now. But what is the government doing? Why I'm not actually mostly trying to attack this particular government, because they're new in the system. So I'm trying to be reasonable as a person, as a human being, to understand it takes time to actually take a lot of things or to do a lot of things in the right way. And I believe
Are they actually new?
I was about to ask the same question.
They are new compared to somebody who has spent 8 years in government and did nothing.
Were they not part of the system that installed that administration?
Okay, I will never blame you for your sister's fault. Are you getting the point? I will never blame you.
But I was with my sister. I was advising my sister.
She was making decisions, not you. You can advise me. I don't have to do it. It's an advice.
And besides, those in charge now have always boasted of their track record of experience in government. So that has to count for something. If you've been preparing to get here and you've occupied similar positions in the past, we expect that you should do better.
That's a point. But what I'm trying to make you understand is, I am a patient person. I'm very, very patient in life.
Nigerians, the rest of us, patients.
That is the point. So if whatever I want to do in life, I try to look at it in various aspects before I can conclude. So that's why I told you they're new to me in terms of me being somebody who is being used to having a government for 8 years. for 8 years.
And they did also promise quick remedy to what Nigerians were going through.
Politicians' promises are not promises. They are not promises for you to be waiting for. They're only promising all those things for them to get to where they're getting to. I believe some of them might have it at their heart, but when they get in office, it's only God that knows what they're going to say on the table. So I cannot blame a single person, and I don't want to blame this particular government yet until I want to give them time to see. When this government came new, they removed subsidy. I had an interview and I spoke about it. And people were actually firing me for it because I was supporting the government for removing subsidy. And not knowing we're actually going to get here, because some part of the thing I said was, the president said I'm going to remove subsidy before he was elected. And you guys went ahead and elect him, and he removed it. So what is the problem? He said, I'm going to remove it. And you know that he said it, and you voted for him. So why are you blaming him now?
Maybe the problem is the aspect where proper preparation to make Nigerians have a soft landing wasn't put in place. So yes, Nigerians were expecting the subsidy removal actively, but not at the pace in which he did, because it was almost like there was no proper planning. It's almost like you walk into a room and then you meet people waiting for you. You were not expecting them to be waiting for you. So that is the angle that most Nigerians were coming from when they were saying, oh, why would you do this? But from you that have spoken so highly of the government and saying that, oh, you are not particularly in a haste because they still have time to prove themselves. How well? I mean, you are the one saying that there's so much struggle out there.
One thing with life, it's you have to understand leadership. It's very, very hard. Just for me to become a leader on this particular program, it's actually going to be a very hard thing to do. So what I think I can will actually meet when I see who I'm actually going to be working for and how I'm going to be working for it. So why I'm saying I'm patient, it's if people like this come into government, and we start blaming them now, what is leaders? Are we after saying what I'm going to say today, are they going to remove the subsidy tomorrow? No. So what I always hope and pray for a better country, because I believe we are better. We are actually going to be better. But to say, is it this government? Is it maybe, let's assume maybe we have a different government, maybe Atiku's government or Obi's government or Christopher's government. Do you think we're going to have a different government? Are you getting the point? Nigeria is Nigeria. They mostly select their people that are actually going to work for them as their cabinet, based on who work for our party, who sacrifice for our party, not who is supposed to lead this particular ministry. Are you getting the point? So you have to understand that, yes, this is how our cultural politics is. So when it comes to that, you have to be ready for that. But one thing you have to do as a Nigerian is we are always surviving. We are always surviving, no matter how the difficulties. Nobody want to go, because during Buhari we were saying things were hard. Now we are in Tinubu's area, and now most of us were already packed our cars. We're not going out with it anymore, because you buy fuel of 5,000 before. Now you have to do 20,000. If it takes you from Abuja to Kaduna, now how much are you going to spend? I get in the point. So like nobody's enjoying it. Nobody's enjoying it. But what I'm saying is, let's see how far they can, and let's hope and pray. There is no guarantee in this country, especially when it comes to politicians. But I believe Tinubu, I see Tinubu as a politician, as a grassroots politician that started from way back. And I believe he should understand how to lead people and what is power and what he needs to actually lead this country forward. I never supported him as a candidate of APC, beginning of the race, because I always believe we need a younger person to lead this country. Maybe somebody who can understand our generation. I get in the point. But God destined him to be our president. And so now we have the president called who?
Bola
Tinubu. So now he's our president, and we have to hope for the best and for the country. Because hoping for the best is hoping for yourself. Because whatever happens in the country happens with you.
Okay, let's now move on to Ugo's favorite
It's not, it's not my favorite
Nasu
subject,
and
but
Sanu,
it is
which-
something that needs to be talked about.
Yes.
Pending the approval of Mr. President, the federal government, through the Minister of Education, Tai Hamamana, has said that the Senior Staff Association universities and then NASU will be getting half salaries. Now, this is in contrast to their contemporaries talking about ASU, who got 4 months out of the 8 months they were owed. And record has it that all of the unions went on strike at the same time in 2022. That 8 months, strike that lasted for 8 months.
Okay.
Now, apparently the leadership of the NASU and the SANU are not happy with this development where the government is saying, we want to pay you half salaries. And they're saying, if you have treated the academic staff union of universities well by paying them 4 months, we deserve the same treatment as well. And they think this is some sort of discrimination. Do you think there's anything wrong in the government deciding to pay the SANU and the NASU half salaries?
I think everything is wrong in this conversation. Everything is wrong because from the beginning, why wouldn't they pay their salaries? Why do we get to this stage? Like I said before, you have to go back to the roots and understand why.
Well, President Buhari did implement a no work, no pay policy, but I mean, in spite of that, a lot of people are, coming from the angle of, yes, there was a no work, no pay policy, but you have still paid ASU 4 months. So why do you have to change the procedure now that has gotten to their turn?
I think the education minister said he's waiting for the approval of the presidency, and that's why they are paying them half for now before he approves to. So I think who they should blame, who they should be focusing on is the president, because he's the final say. And he said something. He mentioned something about when they complain about the same thing that ASU was paid 4 months during Buhari's tenure. He told him that that was Buhari's decision to pay them. So now it's going to be who.
That it was discretionary. That was his words.
So now it's going to be who's Tinubu's decision to pay or to even do more than they're expecting, maybe. But I think from beginning, why are we getting here? Like, this is education we're talking about. So why would you allow this kind of educational system to have this kind of issues when you know that this is the best thing that can happen to any human being on earth? Why are you treating these people this way? Because I think they should be more celebrated than any other politician living as a politician or as an elected member of anything, because they are the one growing the country, teaching us, teaching our children, teaching our parents also. So I don't think we should be having this issue. I think we should be above this by now. As Nigerians, we shouldn't be having all these issues. Like, remember the ASU issue that we had strike for how many months? If I can remember. Which kind of country does that? You see our people running to Cotonou, Togo, and other places to go and study, while they're already in 300 level here. So moving out of the country just go and study. And again, that leads to a lot of the issue of cybercrime. I'm telling you.
It's all connected.
It's all connected because somebody like me, I was never a student that wanted to go to school. I only had to go to school because my father told me to go to school. You have to get to a stage whereby in your life you understand that, okay, now education is actually good and it's actually the best thing that will happen to you in this life. But before now, I wouldn't know if I was left alone to choose what I'm actually going to become, it would maybe something else. Not being part of football, yes. So, but we had to go to school because that was a system to follow for anybody's development. And the system of school in Nigeria is having issues. So some people are in 300 level that suffered and struggling in those kind of school process, how to pay the schools and how to be in school just to feed yourself. It's a lot. And now you are on strike for 8 months. Do you know that some students are having, student businesses, whereby they do business in school with their students. So when they have those strikes, they are down. There is no money to actually even feed themselves. I see a lot of students that leave their parents' villages and come to universities, and they will not go back to those villages until they graduate.
Yes.
Can you imagine? Not because they don't want to go back and see their family. The money to move and go and come back is the problem. So the money they have is they use that small amount of money to survive. So how do you expect that kind of person to survive when there is a strike for 8 months. How do you expect a lecturer to survive that has children to feed and have family to take care of to survive when there is no salary for 8 months? Like, how does somebody sleep? I used to ask, like, how does somebody sleep knowing that somebody is out there hungry? And not that he doesn't have a job. He got a job,
But
and
they're
he's
on
working,
strike.
but there was strike, and there was no payment. Are you getting it? So, if you notice, a lot will lead you to a lot of things. That's why I told you when I started, I didn't go soft on the issue of cybercrime, because I wanted to understand that the issue why people do it is not because I just choose to do it. Which kind of life are they living? Where did they find themselves? It's not an excuse to become criminal. No, it's not. But still, if the government create a platform for you, one thing with Nigeria issue is we don't have a system. We have rules and regulation on paper, but the system is it working? You go to China. I saw a news last week. I think they sentenced I think a lady, a billionaire. She's a billionaire in China.
Vietnamese.
Vietnamese,
You know,
yes.
yeah. They sentenced her to death.
Yes.
I don't know what was
Yeah,
the
for
crime.
corruption.
Of corruption charges.
She's a billionaire. Imagine this happening in Nigeria. Who is going to kill who?
That's a good question. It's going to kill.
Yes, now, because
Okay.
imagine you becoming a billionaire in this country. Who's going to touch you? Which organization is going to arrest you? Yes, you can be arrested for some certain issues that you may have done wrong, but are you going to get sentenced to death? Death? No. But China is China. Their rules is their rules. No matter your money, you cannot pass the system. We don't have a system. We have people on the system doing whatever they want to do. If you go to maybe some states, what this governor is doing in his state is different from what other governors do in his state. And the rules is the same. To pay salary, to employ people, to create opportunity. It's all the same thing. But if you go to Nigeria, you go to Kaduna, you go to Niger, you go to Lagos, you go to Anambra, you see a lot of different things happening. And after a while, you all see them coming to Abuja to celebrate something, I don't know, as all the governors of Nigeria. Are you getting the point? So if they can do whatever they feel like doing, that's why youths are now saying that they can take their own life in their hands and try to survive. And imagine somebody who is using his phone and getting money. That is not his money, by the way, but getting money to feed himself.
And his family.
And his family. So what can you tell him to justify? Or what can you give him to ask him to stop doing that? But if opportunities are being created, I tell you, a lot of people are not happy. How can you be happy to have money that you cannot spend? There are a lot of people that are doing this cybercrime, they have a lot of money, they cannot spend it. Because it's either they're too young or they are from maybe a very poor background. They cannot be seen spending such money. That's why they move to Lagos, where nobody knows their family. Or big cities like Abuja, where nobody knows their origin. So you see with the car of 15 million, they think maybe your father is you have a senator uncle or a father governor. But can you drive that kind of car in your village? No. If you do, then they know that you are part of those people. Are you getting it? So because now if I'm brought up from Kaduna and my people knows my background, there are something that they will see me having access to. They know that there is a problem. Because where am I getting it? Where am I working? What am I doing? We all want to have money. We all want to have a lot of money. But you have to do it the right way.
Okay, I think we've had a very interesting conversation. It has been a blend of motivation and also answering some certain questions we get into this. What would be your final words, Dr. Khalifa, as we wrap up regarding cybercrime, regarding what the government can do? What would be your final words as we wrap up?
And again, there is something I didn't mention. I have a school in Zaria. In school is an institute for professional certificates. And why do I have this kind of access to schools? Is because we want to create opportunity for those young people that are falling into this kind of cyber crimes and other activities, or banditry or whatever it is. Why? Because we want to show them, if you see us looking good on camera, it's because we have worked so hard for it. So if you want to be like us, this is not the way. So I'm not supporting them at all. And I don't think I'm doing such activities will take you anywhere in life. You can have money for 2-3 years, but where did it get to you? Look at the people that were doing before you. They're almost all in prison, serving jail time. Where is the money being collected? Who is this, our celebrity
Hush Puppy?
Hush Puppy. He's having jail time for how many years? Only God knows. I get in the point. So what is the use of the money? The pictures he has, that nobody look at the pictures anymore? I get in the point. So like it's nothing. But giving to you your statements, my advice to young people growing up in this country, there is a lot of opportunity in this country, a lot of opportunity. You just have to look the right direction. You just have to study well and understand that you cannot go anywhere without school. Our system was designed for you to go study, not only because you want to study and go and work in an organization. By being a student, you have classmates, you have classmates. If you want to expand your business, that's where to start. If I want to have a big market in the world, I have to start selling to my people close to me to know the content of what I'm actually offering them. So whatever you want to do, because sometimes when you talk about school, people see you as you want us to go and study because we don't want to work for anybody. You don't have to work for anybody. I am not working for anybody. I have football agents. I'm a football agent. I have football academy. I have a school, like I told you, in Zaria. I do a lot of business that I don't want to mention here. So I do a lot to survive because I want to be able to afford a lot of things, nice things, travel around the world. So I know that I need to look for money. So, but do I sleep? I don't sleep 10 hours a day. I get in, I can be in Abuja today. I was in Zaria yesterday, like you've seen me. I'm in Abuja today, I'm leaving today. You see me.
Not without my chocolate, anyway.
No, it's actually downstairs. So you have to do a lot to get a lot. Because I always tell people, you have to do something you have never done before for you to get something you have never gotten before.
Amazing.
That's profound, according to Ugo. That's profound. You have to do something you've never done before for you to get something that you've never gotten. All right.
That's tweetable.
Yes, we need to write that words on the marble. Word for the day, Monday the 15th. Courtesy of Dr. Khalifa Abbas. We must say thank you for coming on the show and having this great conversation with us. A high five.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. We do hope that when next we call you, you would run from where you are to come here.
I will surely. Anytime.
All right. So it is Rapid Dawn. This is where we say that it has been a great show. You would agree with me, Ugo, right?
Absolutely. It's been a phenomenal ride with you from start to finish.
Sorry?
From start to finish.
He was here as well.
Yes.
Oh, okay. He was here half. All right. So we would come tomorrow morning bright and early at 7.
With lots of the stories that we didn't talk about today.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So many things. And of course, it is Trendy Tuesday. So what a great way, because this conversation, some of them are still buzzing on the social space. So we'll be looking into some of this conversation, and hopefully we'll have a guest to talk about some of these things with us right here on the show. I love the fact that you enjoyed today's show. Something just tells me that you did enjoy today's show. And don't forget that you can follow us on all of our social media platforms on Facebook and Instagram. We are
at Official Rapid TV, and you can also follow your favorite people using our social media handles, and do follow us online at www.arabianradiotv.com. Ugochukwu Madamere is my name. Cynthia Akbo, signing out. Bye-bye.